Hello friends, welcome back to our channel, You Next Officer. We are back with our initiative of discussion of daily sociology mains question and will provide you the model answers. So do subscribe, share, like our channel guys. For, for model answer, you have to join our Telegram channel. So today is the day 6 of our discussion. So our today's question is, sociology is a preeminently study of a modern society. So the first question is, see, we have to, I am not only providing you a model answer, discussion, but my main focus is to make you understand, make you write the question of your own, right? So we have to study. So sociology, the question is all about what question is asking. We have to discuss it first. That sociology is a preeminently means mainly, right? So we have to study. The sociology is mainly a study of a modern society. So we have to understand. We have to understand what is the demand of the question, right? Writing what we know is not enough and it's not as sufficient to fetch a good marks, right? We have to dealt what question is asking, right? So let's discuss about question is, sociology is mainly a study of modern society. So first we have to discuss and write about the emergence of sociology, how sociology as a subject emerged, right? So in this we have to study the sociology as a subject emerged can be traced to that period of European history. The sociology as a subject emerged in that period of European history where there is a changes in the social order, in the plus in the economic order, in the intellectual order, in the political, all the aspect of the society is undergoing a tremendous change, right? So tremendous change, right? Tremendous change. Okay, so that led to the emergence, that led to the rise of modern society. How modern society emerged? So modern society always emerged with the, we'll talk about the modern society. We have already discussed about the modernity. So modern society always emerged with the new thoughts, right? These new thoughts challenge what? Challenge the traditional thoughts, traditional ideas, traditional values, right? And will give it a kind of a new ideas, new thoughts, new perspective to the society, to the people, to the relation, to the interactions, right? So this is all about the introduction. We have to introduce in the manner that the emergence of sociology, how sociology as a subject emerged in the modern society, in the modern society, and modern society, how it's a study of a study. If we study the modern society, we get to know about the sociology, right? This is a interrelated. So our introduction is done. Moving on to the second, that is body part of the question, is we have to discuss about modernity, modern society. Modern society can be studied through the different schools, right? Different perspectives. So the first perspective that we talk about is a structural functionalist. The structural functionalist is the perspective that they appreciate. They're the appreciator. They're the early appreciator of modernity, appreciator of modernity and the modern society. They thought, according to them, right, according to them, a new social order, when the new social order emerged, it binds the society member and the different institutions, right? Be it institutions, social interactions, and the people themselves, they all are integrated with the new order, right? With the introduction of a new order. So structural functionalists were the people, were the thinkers who appreciated the modernity. So according to them, what modernity or the modern society is all about, they just appreciate the modernity. One thing, they call the society, that is different institutions and social interaction, they enforce it, right? That I have already discussed about you. discuss with you. Next is the, however, we have to discuss about the other things. So one is the structural functionalist, how structural functionalists study the society and their emergence of the sociology as a subject matter, and its emergence as a sociology as a subject matter, and its interrelation with the modernity or the modern society. Now moving on to the Marxist perspective. What Marxists say, Marxist perspective, or we can say Karl Marx himself, they were against of, means they rejected the functionalist view. No, according to them, no, the society will not, that modern society is not an enforcing one, but they creates a divide. The society itself, the modern values itself create divide in the society itself. It is not an integrative force, rather it is a disintegrative force. It divides the society into two parts. It's divide the society into two parts. These are the haves part, that everyone is haves part, and these are the have nots part, right? Have nots part, right? So have and have not, whole society was divided into haves and have not. The society will that is the modern society are in the conflicting in nature, right? And the problem create a kind of a problem. What kind of problem? What kind of problem the Marxists were talking about there? The problems were like poverty, right? Poverty, inequality, crime, right? See, these were the problems that that society were facing at the time of modern society, where the modern society concept was emerged. What is, according to the people, or according to the thinkers, or what is modernity is all about? See, modernity in terms of a political is a political modernity, right? Is a if the modern society, will talk about the modern society, for example, we'll take the example of USA. We'll call it as a USA is a modern society, right? According to the whole world, right? The society of the US is the modern society, right? So why we called USA society, that's American society, as a modern society in terms of a political system, right? Why political system? The democracy is there, right? This is why the political system of the American society is a modern society, is a modern system, right? Regular elections, the people, next is the next political right, the people have the fundamental rights, right? Political rights, they have the fundamental rights, people have the fundamental rights, right? And what about the other thing, the institutions of the institutions? We'll talk about the political modernity. Modern society is institutions are very strong. Institutions are strong. If the democratic institutions are strong, say for example election commission, so we'll call it as a modern society, modern political society, right? Political nature of the society is very modern, right? Moving on to next part, that we'll talk about the modern society in terms of economy. So economy is what? Economy is a market based on the market force. So market force, competition, right? So next, market forces, competition, and what other thing? Meritocracy, right? Meritocracy. So these were the factors. Market forces, demand and supply, right? The self-regulator, the market itself called as a market is a self-regulator, right? No need of a government to self-regulate, because, and how it's self-regulated, or based on demand and supply, right? So in terms of a economy, the American society is also a modern economic society, right? Moving on to the next part, that is intellectual level. At the intellectual level is what? Fundamental right plus freedom of expression, right? Freedom of expression, these are the fundamentals if we called any society as a modern society. Say for example, if we compare the Saudi Arabia is in economic terms, right? In terms of economy, the Saudi Arabia is doing great, right? Qatar, Kuwait is doing great, but do we call them as a modern society? I think no, right? Why? The modern society is having not only in terms of economy, but in all the aspect. In all the aspect means what? Political, in terms of a political, in terms of a intellectual, in terms of a economy, right? Freedom of expression, freedom of right to privacy, like we have right to privacy in the intellectual level, right? Individual, the nature of the individual, the choices of the individual is respected, is valued in the modern society. Now moving on to the question part, that is a model answer. See, all these things I have not written in the model answer, but you have to explain it. You can whatever answer, whatever the example and anything you like in my it means during the discussion we can write it, right? Moving on to next part, that is uh, what Karl Marx, see, according to the Karl Marx, the modern society is a disintegrative one, right? So what he called as a form of a in the means they suggested, that is Marxists suggested a new form of a society, that is a socialist society, socialist society. Why? It is based on the principle of equality, right? So we face certain problems in the modern society that will also discuss, though it is not in the answer, and it may not be required to write it in the answer, but we have to discuss it. We have to have the we have to have widen our knowledge horizon, so that it would be easy for us to tackle any of the questions, right? Moving on to next part that we are talking about is a conservationist approach, or in the conservationist approach, Louis de Bonald, right? Louis de Bonald was a proponent of this conservationist. What he said, according to him, the modern society is just full of normlessness, full of lawlessness. There is no norm in the society, there is no value system in the society. So what he was advocating, advocating for the coming back to the previous society, that is a traditional society. He called as a traditional society as a good society, rather than considering or accepting the modern society as a good for us, right? So this is done. Moving on to next part, that is conservationist society is done. Next we have to, at the end of this we have to write it down, our conclusion. See, the discussion part is okay, but we have to write our 10 marker question within one page, means one page, two sides of the page, right? So we have to justify our point, we have to write our point accordingly, rather than writing all the stuff is not possible, right? It's not possible in write in all the stuff in the in the two page of the two page, right? Within that two page, right? So moving on to the next part, that is our conclusion. There was a need felt to study the changes, opportunity of a new order, right? Distinct subject matter. So I'm heading towards the model answer, right? See the conclusion. So conclusion part is, I think, clear. So let me know if you have any doubt regarding it. So let's read together this conclusion part. Okay, so there was a need felt to study the challenges, opportunities, and the new order. See, there is everywhere in the modern society, everywhere is chaos, right? Lawlessness, normlessness, inequality. Some section of the society, a few section of the society is progressing. Otherwise, the majority were suffering from disease, from air pollution, the problems of the modernity. See, we have to study not only, see, I'm just explaining it. It's not required that you have to write it down in the exam, in the answer paper. So just what are the problems we face in the modern society, that we have to also write. So dilution in terms of, if we see in terms of a problems, right? What all problems we face? The first, we'll face the kind of inequality we respect, air pollution. Next, what all other things? The inequality, air pollution, poverty. And positives were the women were having the rights, women, right? Rights, these were the things that we can understand how modern society affected. So this is for today. So thank you guys for the discussion, and do subscribe our channel, share among your friends, with your friends, so that what, you'll get the more quality content from us. Thank you. So because this is a kind of a motivating factor for us